Hi everybody, and welcome back to Kimbo's Comfort Kitchen. And today we're going to do fish stew. Unlike another video I did a while ago, which was authentic bouillabaisse, which at the time of filming this has had a pretty good response, at least for my site. Over 20,000 hits and growing today. But I don't want to spend the entire afternoon with a bunch of equipment, blenders, everything else, making a bouillabaisse. So I went online and looked at a bunch of different recipes for a fish stew, and this is what I've come up with. Now, I should preface this that it doesn't take all afternoon. Originally it was supposed to be 30 minutes, but I decided that it actually takes about an hour to do it. When you first take a look at the next scene, you're going to see there's a lot of ingredients, but most of them are in your kitchen already. So it doesn't take long to assemble. The rest of it is really easy. There are, however, a few changes that I would recommend because this was the first time that I made it. I used frozen cooked prawns. I would never do that again. I would use frozen uncooked prawns, and I have a video on how to thaw prawns properly so that they come out nice and tender. Just go right there. I would also, I would actually let the base, the sauce itself, stew longer. Originally, in the video you're about to see, it's like for about 20 minutes or something. I would say let it stew or simmer before you put any of the proteins in. Let it stew and simmer for at least 40 minutes. It allows everything to come out, all the flavors come out, amalgamate. It makes it much fuller, thicker, and it's going to obviously reduce a bit. But you just want on a simmer. The other thing I would do is I would add Pernod. I never did. Now, a lot of people don't like licorice or the flavor of licorice, so if you're one of those people, then I wouldn't put it in. But I think it adds a lot of depth to it, or would add a lot of depth to it. Anybody who has mussel dishes with Pernod, it's pretty much a classic. This would marry with it beautifully. So, having said that, those are the basics, basic changes. Let it simmer longer, put some Pernod in, use raw prawns, not cooked, because as we all know, these proteins have a tendency to get really, really tough and rubbery if they're overcooked. And you want to add all of these last. So let the sauce develop. Once it's developed, then add your proteins in like I'm doing in this video. So I hope you enjoy this. And like I said, this is a really quick, easy solution to making a great fish stew. All right, so let's go through the ingredients quickly here. I know it looks daunting when you see all of this stuff, but this whole meal takes including getting all this stuff together, is probably like 30 minutes. So salt and pepper, saffron, thyme, parsley, minced garlic, fish stock, dry white wine, chopped onions, tomatoes, diced tomatoes, prawns, and I've got chipotle with hot smoked paprika. All of these ingredients in their amounts are on my YouTube site as well. And there's cod. These are the prawns and live mussels. So let's get going. All right, so this is going to go pretty quick. So I've heated up my pot. I've got some avocado oil in here, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of the ingredients. Got my diced onions. And basically, the onions, I just want to get them slightly sauteed so they're a little bit translucent. And I'm not going to put the garlic in right away, because if I do, it's going to burn. So I'm going to put that in. The order is important here. A little bit of salt, some seasoning. I kind of season this dish. I kind of season as I go. I don't want to be obviously too salty, but it's important to season as you go. In this case, I've got this on 3/4 heat. And you can see it's almost translucent. It doesn't take very long. This whole dish is about less than 15 minutes. Now I'm going to put in my garlic. And I'm going to swirl this around. Now again, we don't want this to burn because garlic gets really acidic and acrid. Sort of the same word. Now I'm putting in my dry spice, which is chipotle with hot smoked paprika. And I'm putting this in now because I want this to be well distributed, or distributed even. And my thyme, which is dried. I'm not using fresh thyme. I'm using dried because it's more potent in this case. And I'm going to put in my white wine. I use a good white wine, a dry. This is a Pinot Gris. Don't use crappy wine. It's never good in a recipe. Trust me, you'll tell the difference. So we're going to let that simmer just for a sec. Not very long. And now I'm going to put in my diced tomatoes. And this is going to be the foundation for the stew. Oh yeah, that's going to be amazing. And I'm going to let this develop for a bit. Oops, sorry. I'm going to let this develop for a little bit, maybe about 2-3 minutes, and we'll be right back. So this has been 3 minutes. Now I'm going to add my fish stock. You can buy fish stock many different places. I go to a place in Vancouver called Granville Island to get my fish stock because I'm too lazy to make it from scratch. And then I'm going to add my saffron. And we are almost done here, believe it or not. So I've turned the heat down just a little bit. And we're going to let this come to a simmer again. And I just want it to be a simmer. And then when we do that, we're going to add all the proteins. And then pretty much after that, that's it. Okay, so I've tasted the broth. And it's pretty darn good, I got to say, at this point. But I'm going to add some fresh cracked pepper now. A little bit more salt. I know it seems counterintuitive when you have seafood, but trust me, a lot of people undersalt their seafood, believe it or not. Now, originally I was going to just start with the proteins, but I am going to let this develop a little bit more because I think is always, patience does have a virtue here. So I'm going to keep this on a low simmer for about another 5 minutes before I add the proteins. Because how you add the fish is very important. All right, as you can see, I've got it on a simmer here. And we've had it another 4 minutes. Give it time to develop. I'm going to put the cod in. Just raw. It doesn't take very long. Now, you could use raw prawns if you wanted to. I decided to use some pre-cooked prawns that I had, which means that basically they only just need to get warmed. So, I'm putting the prawns in now. We don't want them to be tough. We don't want to overcook anything. And we're going to add the mussels now. I've got to make sure I drain the water out. So add the mussels, and I'm going to cover for, let's try 5 minutes. Turn the heat up a bit because I've added the cold mussels to it, and then I'll monitor it from there. All right, so we are another 6 minutes in, and voila. Let's see how this comes out. I'm as excited as you are. So to start with, let's take the cod, the mussels, prawns, and some more mussels. Now remember, if the mussels haven't opened, then we don't eat them. But you get the idea. Okay. So here's one. I'm going to clean that up a bit. But that's basically what we're looking at. So here's what we got. This is it. Fish stew. Quarter of the time what it takes to make a bouillabaisse. Very quick and easy. I know there was a lot of ingredients at the beginning, but trust me, it's not a big deal. And tonight we're going to serve it with simple fresh baguette, sesame baguette. I didn't make any crostinis, didn't do anything else, just topped it with parsley, make it look pretty, and away we go. So I hope you enjoy this, and if you like it, please subscribe if you haven't already, and more importantly, please share. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.